Colgate tooth powder for a breath that's sweet.
And Halo shampoo to glorify your hair.
Presents Joan Blondell as the star of Next Time We Love in your theater of romance from Hollywood. Tonight, Colgate tooth powder and Halo shampoo bringing the universal picture Next Time We Love. Appearing in tonight's theater of romance as one of America's most delightful performers, the gal who almost got Gable in MGM's adventure, Miss Joan Blondell. And so to you, Colgate tooth powder and Halo shampoo, comes our play, Next Time We Love, and our star, Joan Blondell.
Princeton Junction, Trenton, and Atlantic City. Parks and 5 minutes.
Chris, here I am, Chris, over here.
This way. Oh, gosh, I was afraid your train had already gone.
No, thanks to you, I didn't miss it.
Oh, darling, don't talk like that. You know what the newspaper business is.
Yes, it's very important.
Oh, stop it, will you? Come on. I'll walk you to your train.
It's right through here, gate 5.
I'm going to miss you, baby.
Oh, me too. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Whoever said that?
Juliet.
A lot she knew. Yes, it'll be weeks and weeks before we ever see each other.
Oh, you'll be busy.
Chris, if you meet a girl that you don't have to wait for, I'll understand.
What would you understand?
Well, a girl away from her boyfriend is such a useless person to be in love with.
Darling, do you mind very much if I just go on being in love with you?
That's the way I like to hear you talk. Chris.
Yes, dear.
Aren't you going to kiss me?
Baby.
Well, I guess I better get on the train, huh?
Cicely.
Yes, Chris?
What would happen if you didn't get on this train?
What? It wouldn't matter if you wanted me to stay.
Now, you're making an important decision, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You better think twice about it.
I have. I've made up my mind long ago that I'd say yes if you asked me to stay. And now we drink to, let's see, who do we drink to now?
To Tommy, a good actor and a good friend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And may he be as good a friend to Chris and me as he is of just Chris.
To my best man, Tommy, may he always be my best man and Cicely's second best.
Well, that was a nice toast. Even if it did go up your nose, Cicely.
Oh, I guess I'm not used to champagne. Oh, Chris, I'm so happy.
Darling, I forgot. I've got to call the office.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Chris, this is your wedding day.
All the same, I better call in. I'll be right back.
I wonder what they do to newspaper men to make them work so hard. Maybe they hypnotize them, huh?
They don't have to do anything to Chris.
Yeah, I know. He likes his work.
And I hope he never stops. I think that's what makes him so exciting. I'm sorry, there doesn't seem to be much else on my mind except my marriage and what I've got to do not to spoil it.
Aren't you beginning to worry just a little bit early? You've only been married 2 hours.
Well, you see, Tommy, both Chris and I feel that the trouble with most marriages is that, well, the women haven't got anything to do. With us, it's going to be different.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the way we got it figured out. Chris is going to be the most famous newspaper man who ever lived, and I'm going to be the most glamorous, successful, hard-working actress on Broadway.
Well, why are you so sad about it?
I'm not. I'm happy. Just wish you'd forget about the paper for 1 hour on our wedding day. Chris.
Oh, hello, darling. How'd the rehearsal go?
Oh, Chris, Mr. Jennings gave me 2 new lines. Isn't that marvelous?
Oh, wonderful.
Now, listen to this. It comes after the big number in the second act. I come on in one in the same costume I wear in the chorus, only this time I'm a waitress.
Yeah?
Well, now I go over to one of the tables and see my mother, who doesn't know I'm working in a hash house. Here are the lines. Now you cue me.
All right. Over here, miss.
Yes, ma'am. What are you having for dinner, Mother?
Cicely.
Yes, Chris.
Cicely, isn't your word emphasis a little misleading?
Huh?
I mean, shouldn't you read it a little more like, what are you having for dinner, Mother?
Oh, but that's the way I did it with Crystal, exactly. And everybody got a terrific yuck out of it.
Yak? What's that?
Well, that's a laugh, silly. You know, yuck, 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 yuck.
I always thought it was a kind of a cow.
Chris. Now, go on.
Okay. The busboy brushes past her. She loses her balance and falls into a patron's lap. In that costume?
Well, it's only an accident.
I don't care what it is. I don't like the idea of your being pawed by some refugee from the Orpheum Circuit.
Oh, don't be silly. That's Tommy's part.
Tommy's for... Oh, I see. Well, that makes everything just dandy.
Now, don't be like that, Chris.
Well, look, Cicely. It doesn't make any difference now. You won't be going on with the show anyway.
Why not?
I was going to tell you when you came in, but you didn't give me a chance. They're sending me to Italy in charge of the Rome office. Think of it.
But, Chris...
But, honey, it's perfectly safe. I wouldn't ask you to come along if it weren't.
Well, I wasn't thinking of that, Chris.
Well, then what are we waiting for? You get on the phone and tell Jennings you'll have to get someone to take your place.
Yeah, but Chris...
Well, all right, if you'd rather wait and tell him in person, okay. I got to get back to the office. We'll talk about it later.
Yes. Yes, we'll talk about it later.
Well, should we dance the encore or should we wait for Chris? Or should we have another drink?
I don't need a drink, and we don't have to dance. Chris just came in. He's over at the table.
Let's join him before he goes back to his typewriter. Hiya, Chris.
Hi, darling.
Hello, Cicely.
Hello, Tommy. Just heard your news, Chris. Congratulations.
Thanks, Tommy.
Well, I guess you don't need me. I'll be in the bar.
Okay. Well, Cicely, did you tell Jennings?
Mr. Jennings?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, I thought you were going to see him. What's the matter with you, anyway?
Chris,
What?
I don't think I'd better go with you next week.
Not go to Rome with me?
Well, I've been thinking about it very hard. Well, after all, I did get good notices, and I had such a good start, and Mr. Jennings has given me those extra lines.
You mean that line?
Chris, I thought you were glad about my having a part in Tommy's show.
Well, it was all right while we were waiting for a break.
You mean while you were waiting for a break?
Oh, be reasonable. Well, I guess it's my own fault. I should have known what would happen if I let you go on the stage.
Left me?
Well, encouraged you then. You couldn't help it if you got stage struck.
Stage struck? How could I be stage struck when I'm already on the stage?
A couple of critics flatter you and you go crazy, chasing around with a leading man, making a spectacle of yourself in public places.
Well, I like that. Now I see how things are in their true life.
This is not the play at all. It's Tommy. You've had a crush on him ever since I left you alone with him on our wedding night.
I've had enough, Chris. Now go.
Darn right I'll go. And what's more, I'll go to a hotel. I'll phone you tomorrow when you get some sense. Goodbye.
Chris, don't go off like that,
Chris, wait a minute. Gone, huh?
Tommy, what am I going to do?
What's the real reason you're not going with him, Cicely?
Well, just as I told you earlier this evening, I'd only be a burden to him.
Oh. I thought maybe it was something else.
Oh, no, Tommy. I love him.
Well, then why don't you go? Nobody's career is worth giving that up for.
Well, it isn't only that. You see, if I were more or less sick for months and Chris had to worry about doctors and where to get pasteurized milk for the baby.
Well, of course, if you're ill and you need pasteurized milk for the baby.
Yes, Tommy. Yes, that's the way it is.
Chris doesn't know?
Of course not. You mustn't tell him.
Look, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Well, all I know is that if I told him about the baby, he wouldn't go. And this is a chance he's been working for all his life.
Well, Cicely, if he never forgives you, remember, I'm still your second best man.
Thanks.
Now, shall we dance?
No. No, thanks. I better go home. I better get used to going back to the apartment without Chris.
Betty has a stunning new hat, a real bowcaster.
Betty can catch a beau easily enough, but she can't hold him. Well, Mary, Betty is your cousin, so why don't you tell her about that little breath of trouble?
Not even a well-meaning cousin cares to tell a young woman that a little breath of trouble, I mean unpleasing breath, is robbing her of romance. Clearly, it's a case for Colgate tooth powder. Anyone can be the victim of unpleasing breath. It's happened to thousands without their knowing. So, watch out. Don't you be a victim. Follow the Colgate tooth powder routine. Brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. For Colgate tooth powder cleans your breath as it cleans your teeth. Yes, scientific tests prove that Colgate tooth powder, in 7 cases out of 10, instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. And when it comes to cleansing, money can't buy a dentifrice that will clean your teeth better or quicker than Colgate tooth powder. Remember the name, Colgate tooth powder, with the accent on powder. And now, Colgate tooth powder and Halo shampoo bring the second act of Next Time We Love, starring Joan Blondell.
It was hard being separated from Chris at such a time, but there were thousands of other women in the same situation. In fact, I was lucky, plenty lucky, because when I wired Chris that our baby had been born, he was able to drop everything and come home by the next clipper.
Cicely, darling. Oh, you crazy kid. Was it really so awful for you, darling?
Well, I wouldn't want to make a career of it.
Oh.
You better go over there and get yourself introduced.
Yeah. Well, I'll be darned. So that's what a baby looks like.
They're quite an institution, you know. Politicians kiss them.
Cicely.
What's the matter?
Hasn't got any teeth.
Oh, of course not. He's not supposed to have.
What's he doing that for?
Oh, he's just beginning to be hungry.
Oh. Well, what do you feed it?
Really, Chris, and you a college man. By the way, his name is Kip.
Kip?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Oh, Cicely, it's good to be home again. I've missed you so. You don't know.
You won't ever leave me again, will you?
Never. No matter what.
Not even to go to the office.
No. I mean, they can wait.
Chris, is something wrong at the paper, I mean?
Well, when I got your cable about the baby, I sort of lost my head, I guess. I left before they got somebody to take my place. Whitney was pretty sore. Desertion, he calls it. Anyway, I guess I'm fired.
Oh, Chris.
I don't care. I'm glad. Being a foreign correspondent's no work for a man with a wife and a family.
But you can get a job with some other paper, can't you? I mean, if you changed your mind again and decided that's what you wanted after all.
No, Cicely, I'm afraid that career's all washed up.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Tyler, but I can only give you a minute or two.
Mr. Whitney, I came to talk to you about my husband.
You're just wasting your time and mine, Mrs. Tyler. After all, when I send a man halfway across the world in wartime, I want a man I can depend upon.
Mr. Whitney, didn't you ever make a mistake?
Huh?
And didn't anyone ever give you a second chance?
They don't run newspapers on second chances. I realize this must have made things difficult financially for you and your husband.
Financially? I don't think you quite understand why I'm here.
This. Well, why did you come now?
Because Chris is not only a good husband, but a great newspaper man. And because I want Chris to be doing the things he was meant for.
Well, this is a switch. All the newspaper men's wives I've known wanted their husbands to get out of the business.
My desire against Chris's career, Mr. Whitney.
All right. All right. How about China?
China?
Mm-hmm. And if he sticks at it this time, he'll get everything he ever hoped for. Of course, there'll be months when he's off in the interior. You won't even hear from him. You want me to forget it?
No. No, and he'll stick to it, I promise you. This time I won't do anything to bring him back, no matter what happens. Dear Cicely, 3 years now since we've seen each other. Now that the war is over, I've been doing some thinking, and I suppose you have too. Perhaps ours was one of those hasty, wartime marriages, like so many others. Judging from your letters, you haven't seen us for years.
Don't misunderstand me. I no longer feel as unreasonable about that as I once did. I'm glad you've had someone to keep you company, and it's swell that Kit gets on so well with it. Now, here's my news. I'm not coming home, Cicely. I'm resigning from the paper, and I'm staying on here to write that book I've always been threatening to write. If you want a divorce,
Let me know. I will make the necessary arrangements at this end. As ever, affectionately, Chris. Well, Thomas, what do you make of it?
Doesn't sound like the Chris I used to know.
The strangest thing of all is resigning from his job. Unless he thinks that he's done everything he set out to do.
Cicely,
Yes, Thomas.
even after all these years, this may sound a little sudden, but would you divorce Chris and marry me?
Thanks, Tommy, but you don't need to be chivalrous to that extent. Just because we happen to be very fond of each other is no reason why.
A little more than that, Cicely, at least for me. You see, I happen to be in love with you.
I didn't know, Tommy.
I didn't intend you should. And I've loved you ever since... That's funny. Ever since your wedding day. That's when we met.
Guess I've taken you for granted. I never thought of you at all, except as someone I could turn to. Wasn't very nice of me, was it?
You always loved Chris. Do you still?
Yes. Yes, I do.
How many times have you two been together since you went overseas?
Once for 3 days in Honolulu, a week in Paris, 2 weeks in Cairo after VE Day. Oh, I've been lucky, you know, compared to a lot of wives during the war.
But now when he's free...
I don't care, Tommy. I'm not proud. He won't come to me. Then I'll go to him. Chris, here I am, Chris, over here.
Cicely. Well, certainly a surprise.
Thank you for coming to meet me, Chris. It's going to make things a lot easier for me.
Cicely, I didn't... How's Kit?
Oh, fine. He's staying at Tommy's ranch in California.
Well, my best man still looking after my infrastructure.
Oh, Chris.
You're looking well.
You're looking terrible.
Oh, I've been working pretty hard.
On your book?
Yes.
Chris, I've got to speak this right here now. You asked in your letter if I wanted a divorce.
Naturally, you can't go on like this, being half married and half not
No, I
married.
suppose not. Tommy asked me if I wouldn't divorce you and marry him.
You want it?
I've been thinking about it.
Might be a very good thing for you after the rotten time you've had with me.
Did you ever hear me say I had a rotten time with you?
I guess we were never together long enough to say much of anything.
Chris, you didn't come down here to meet me, did you?
Well, as a matter of fact, I didn't.
You came down here to take a train out. You were running away from me.
What good is it, our seeing each other with things the way they are? But when you got my letter, you'd understand.
I can understand anything, but not your running away from me. You never ran away from anything in your life.
I just realized it was best for us not to see each other, that's all. It would only make us both unhappy.
All aboard.
That's my train, Cicely. I've got to get on it.
Chris, what would happen if you didn't get on this train?
It's no good, Cicely, believe me.
I don't believe you. Not even when you say you don't love me anymore. Chris, you're hiding something from me.
Please, I can't explain anymore. I just want to get away. We'll have to say goodbye.
Not this way. No.
Oh, Cicely, I can't. I can't. I can't.
Chris.
In that coat pocket. Tin box. Break it. It's glass.
Dick.
Yeah, break it quick. Hold it. Hold it so I can inhale it.
Here, my darling. There now. Take another breath. A strong one. Better now, Chris.
Yes,
Oh, darling, why didn't I dare?
I'll be all right.
Are you very sick, Chris?
Yes.
Where are we going?
The sanitarium I've been staying at up near Basel.
Darling, tell me.
Oh, I love you. I've always loved you. Maybe next time we live, we'll have time for each other.
You let me stay with you, won't you, Chris?
Not much time. The doctor said.
They don't know, Chris. But we know, don't we? We've lived a whole life in a few moments stolen here and there from a world too busy to stop for all of us. An hour can be an eternity if we make every moment count.
Joan Blondell, star of Next Time We Love, tonight's presentation of the Colgate Tooth Powder Halo Shampoo Theater of Romance, will return to our microphone in just a moment.
Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo is the shampoo that glorifies your hair, so Halo, everybody, Halo.
Use Halo Shampoo if you want naturally bright and beautiful hair. For soap shampoos leave a film on your hair. But Halo contains no soap, therefore leaves no dulling soap film. The very first time you use Halo, you'll notice your hair glistens in all its natural brilliance. The deep, full, natural color and luster comes sparkling through like sunshine through a clean window pane. And remember, even in the hardest water, Halo makes oceans of rich, fragrant lather. Halo quickly carries away loose dandruff, grease, and dirt. Needs no lemon or vinegar rinse, because Halo leaves no dulling soap film. Nothing to hide your hair's natural beauty. Say hello, Halo, and goodbye to dulling soap film. Use Halo on your children's hair, too. Get Halo shampoo at any cosmetic counter. Remember, Halo glorifies your hair.
So Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo shampoo, Halo.
For the Robert Tallman adaptation of Next Time We Love, heard tonight on Theater of Romance, Colgate Tooth Powder and Halo Shampoo express their thanks to Universal Pictures, producers of Tangier. And our thanks to you, Miss Blondell, for a wonderful job.
Thank you, Frank. I was glad to be here on the Theater of Romance. I hope someday soon to be back with you again. Regular listeners to the Theater of Romance will hear an awfully good show next Tuesday night. Your double-sponsored Colgate Tooth Powder Halo Shampoo have a double treat. A great story with great performers. It's The Hard Way and stars the talented Ida Lupino and Robert Alder. Good night and good listening.
The Colgate Tooth Powder and Halo Shampoo Bulletin for the Future. Next week, Charles Vander's production of Theater of Romance brings you Warner Brothers' exciting story, The Hard Way, starring two of Hollywood's most brilliant performers, Ida Lupino and Robert Alder. 1 week later, the Theater of Romance, brought to you every Tuesday night at this time by Colgate Tooth Powder and Halo Shampoo, will present The Woman in the Window with the dynamic star, Mr. Edward G. Robinson. Keep a date with Theater of Romance for all the weeks to come. You'll always hear your favorite stars. These presentations of Theater of Romance come to you because of your enthusiastic recognition of Colgate Tooth Powder for a breast that's sweet
And Halo Shampoo to glorify your hair.
This is your host, Frank Graham, saying good night and wishing you love, happiness, and romance.
Ladies and gentlemen, your American Red Cross needs the gigantic sum of $100 million to carry out its gigantic program of service to our men overseas and to returning soldiers and veterans. Yes, when a veteran is discharged, the Red Cross stands ready to help him file a claim, to give him temporary financial assistance, to get hospital care, or to put him on the right path for vocational training or job placement. And, of course, we all know how the Red Cross assists civilian victims of distress and disaster. March is the month to raise $100 million for the American Red Cross. Give as generously as you can, as soon as you can. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.